Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. Please subscribe if you haven't yet already. Please hit the bell button to get an alert every time I upload new content, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. That would make me very happy. Today's video is about the Anastasia Subculture palette. And I'm not going to do swatches because they're all over the place, and they also don't seem to be any indication about how they're going to work on your eyes. And I'm not going to insert images of the palette that I'm going into because I really want to get this up quickly and take as little time editing as I can. So I apologize for that, but I will show you the colors that I'm using as I'm using it. So if you want to see how I got this look that kind of seems to still be oxidizing and getting darker as I'm even just watching myself on the viewfinder, and get some opinions about this palette, please keep watching. All right, so here is the box. Haven't taken it out yet. Came in bubble wrap. Here is the outside box. And I've heard about the difference in ingredients, but I'm just gonna dive in because I really wanna see how it performs. I haven't put anything on my face at all, moisturizer, but nothing on my face at all. It came with this little thing. I'm assuming this is an ingredient list or a warning. I've heard about a warning, and I've never seen this as something that's been included in like the outer packaging here. It's just a warning that if irritation or rashes kind of happen, to stop using it. That's pretty standard, but just wondering why they're including it in this one. Okay, and it was packaged, really, there was a lot of the little white kind of snaky things and bubble wrap. So, and it also has the velvet, same velvet as Modern Renaissance. So I'm opening it for the first time here. And how does it look? You're seeing it before. Oh, it looks good. I've heard some people that had problems with pitting or kind of things looking damaged here. It comes with a brush that I've heard is a nice brush, but I've also heard people have had mixed experiences using this. So I'm just going to use my regular brushes because I know how they perform with my regular eyeshadows. And I'm just going to jump in. What I'm going to do is build up a contour with the mattes and then jump in with some shimmers on my lid just to see how I can build things, and I'll bring you in a little bit closer. What I've heard about this palette, which you may have heard about this palette too, is that there's a lot of kickback in the palette. So my understanding is that you're supposed to hit it with a really light touch. First going in, this is a Sigma E40, and I'm going to go in with Dawn. It's this guy up here. Yeah, I am picking up a lot, and I'm not going in very hard, and there is a lot of kind of kickback. So I'm gonna tap that off, and then I'll go in. Actually, you know what I'll do first, because I don't have any primer down? I'm gonna go in, because for me, I'm really pale. I do want to just lay some color down. So I'm going to go back in with Dawn with a flat brush. This is a Morphe M204. And I'm just going to put that everywhere because that does happen to be close to my own skin color. So I'm going back in with Dawn, and I'm going to tap it off and just put this all over. And this seems to be fairly evenly pigmented. It's a little bit darker than my natural skin tone, but that's fine. I just wanted to lay something down to make it be a little more neutral. Okay, now I'll go in with Roxy. It's this one up here. And I'm going to go in with a Sephora Pro Crease brush. So very lightly tapping, and I'm seeing that it's, and you can probably see that too. I'm hitting it really lightly. And that does seem to be, so the complaints that I'm hearing are that you get a lot of kickback in the palette. So kickback is what happens when you have powder kind of sitting on the palette like this, and fallout is what you get when you put it on your face and it falls down. So it's hard for me to say if I'm getting fallout yet, but I haven't really gotten into any of the darker or shimmery colors. Okay, I'm gonna go in with the same brush, and I'm gonna go in with Fudge. And I know this is one that's been in other palettes, I think, and it may also be something that's sold as an individual. Yeah, I'm not seeing it in Self-Made, and I'm not seeing it in Modern Renaissance. So it might be an individual, it might be in other palettes too. Whoa, that is really pigmented. Holy mackerel. I didn't get it very much on my brush there. Wow. Okay, and that's not really moving around. Gonna go in with a Real Techniques Deluxe Crease brush. Wow. To try to buff that a little bit more. Okay, that's working. That is highly pigmented. Not moving as well on this eye as it was on the other one. And that's up really high. I wonder if I can. I'm gonna go back in with the flat Morphe brush that I used for Dawn. I'm gonna pick up some more and just see if I can. Yeah, okay, that's not great, but it's better. Just, I don't like the fact that that's just hanging out there. Well, this is looking not great. But again, like with a lot of eyeshadow, it does look strange if you were to stop kind of mid-process. So that's actually a little bit better. The crease is way higher than I thought that it should have been. So I should be looking at crease brushes that are a lot more compact. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my Pheromone color switch, and this is the Real Techniques, I think it's a crease definer brush. It's really, really small. And I'm swishing this around. Okay, now we're going to get darker. I'm going to go in with All Star, which looks like there's something happening there. I probably dipped into that accidentally when I was doing something else, because when I looked at it originally there wasn't anything on it, so I must have touched it at some point. So I'm going to go in and get All Star, and I'm not going in very hard with that, and tapping it off. And this I'm really going to try to hit in my crease. So I pick up color. That's my general technique, is I pick up color, I put it on one eye, and then I take the same brush without picking up more color and bring it over to the next eye. So that's okay. I think that I just can't use brushes that I normally would, because that just, it brought all the fudge really up there. I'm trying to go into here again. I don't know if I should, but I'm going to. Just a little bit more. Tap, tap, tap. Okay. That is much better. So again, what I'm hearing is about all of the kickback. There are people that are hitting pan on the initial use. So I'm just really trying to go in lightly. And I'm also realizing now that I probably need to be using smaller definer brushes just so I don't get the shadow everywhere. Okay, we still have some darker ones. I'm gonna go back in with my color switch, and actually, instead of doing that, I'm gonna go back in with the Sephora, the contour brush, and I'm switching it in my Pheromone color switch. And I'm gonna go in with Mercury, which is lighter, and I'm gonna go in with the bigger brush because what I'm hoping to do is diffuse a little bit of what's happening up there. And tap it off. And that is not helping. Wow, this is just a... Okay, lesson, I really can't use this brush. I need to use the smaller brush. That's, I don't know if it's coming off as pigmented. My face is just a, my face is okay. My eyes are just kind of a smoky situation. I was gonna say nightmare, but it's not really a nightmare. Okay, color switch. Now I'm gonna go in with Edge, which is this kind of yellow. I am getting a little bit of kickback, but not too much. And I'm gonna try to bring this, I guess, in the center. It's probably just not pigmented enough to kind of cover everything up. I'm trying to warm it up. It's a warm color. Okay, maybe what I should do now, there really are only two metallics and then this cube one, which is kind of like a white, going in with my finger. I'm not doing swatches for this because they're all over the place, but that's kind of shiny. It's not metallic. Okay, I'm gonna go in with, this is just a flat BH Cosmetics brush. And I'm gonna go in with electric. And this, I'm not getting as much kickback as I am with the other matte shadows, which is not surprising. And I'm gonna put this in the center of my lid. That looks a lot more glittery there than it did in the pan. Almost translucent. Okay, so I'm gonna put a little bit on the other eye. It's really nothing. But I wonder if I put it over shadow, if it'll have more color. So I think what I'm gonna do is color switch, and I'm gonna go in with Axis up there. And I'm gonna go in with the same brush that I used the color switch on. This one I've seen, it's just, I did not go in very hard with that, and that's just all over. And I am getting, this is one of the ones that I've seen people hit pan on quickly. So I'm tapping, although I don't have any face makeup on, so it's not the end of the world if still a lot of pigment on here. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with this over the kind of center of my lid, and then I'll come back with a metallic over it. That is super duper pigmented. So yeah, what I'm learning is that you really have to go into the pan with a light hand, and you really have to use lower profile, much denser and much shorter, going in with more of the Axis. Blending brushes, contour brushes, because it just goes everywhere if you don't. So this is becoming kind of a smoky eye, I guess, just because everything is so smoky. And I'm not getting crazy fallout from that, I think, because I am approaching it with caution. Okay, that's actually pretty. Okay, back into the color switch. Okay, actually there's still a decent amount of pigment on this brush, even in the color switch. So I'm gonna pick up a clean flat brush, and this is just a Real Techniques flat brush. And I'm gonna go back in with the electric, and I'm gonna put it on the top and see what that does. Just in the center. Well, it's still very light. Okay. It's almost like a duochrome though, now that I'm doing it. I don't know if you can see that. I'm gonna do a little more, and actually now I'm wondering if that cube color up here is a duochrome. And this is pretty clean. I'm gonna do it in the color switch. And I'm gonna try to hit that on the outside and the inside of my eye. Yeah, that electric color by itself is not really very interesting, but it's almost like a duochrome. And what's happening here? I don't know if I'm seeing anything happening here at all. No. Oh no, okay, it's coming on a little bit, but it's not really as interesting as electric was. Back into the color switch. I think I'm just gonna do electric over my whole eye. Not my whole eye, but over my whole lid. Lower part of my, below my crease. I'm gonna go in with a smaller brush. This is I've used this before. This is a MAC brush. I don't know, it's really old. Then I'm gonna go in with Acorn. It's the only other real metallic in here. And I'm gonna try to hit that on the inside of my eye. And I'm getting a little bit of, it almost feels like a Natasha Denona, like it's kind of moving around like that, like it's almost damp or moist. Okay, so I'm gonna try this. Okay, that's really pretty. That's interesting. That's really like the only true metallic in here, because the electric feels like a duochrome, and I haven't heard anything about it being marketed as a duochrome, but that's kind of how it feels. Not bad. What have I not tried? I'm probably gonna regret this, but I'm gonna go back in with the big Sephora blending brush, and I'm gonna go in with New Wave, which is this guy up here. And I'm just gonna try to blend kind of up, because I'm not gonna be able to get rid of that color up there. So I'm just hoping if I can make it look like I meant to do it. I'm not sure how much that's helping. No big deal. I will go back in and just blend. I'm noticing this is a little bit less blended than I want it to be. And I'll go back in with one more color in my crease. I'm going to go in with Rowdy, which is seems like the darkest color in the palette. And again, I'm getting a decent amount of kickback, but it's not crazy. And I'm really not getting, I am getting fallout. I'm not as much as I did with the with the Urban Decay Basquiat Tenant palette, but I am getting some. It's not standing out as much because I don't have face makeup on yet. So I'm going to try to hit this really in the center of my crease. That is super duper pigmented. Okay, I think I've used all the colors that I want to use, that I can use here. I'm going to put on face makeup, and I will come back with some final thoughts about this. I'll see you soon. Alright, so my face is done, and I used Smashbox Always On Liquid Lipstick in Stepping Out. And I'm noticing, I'm going to bring you in a little bit more. As I was doing my brows, I noticed that the colors were getting darker, like they were oxidizing, and I have heard that too. I don't know if you can see how dark it is up here. And I don't honestly know what color that was. I know that I initially went in with Dawn, which is really fairly close to my flesh tone, a little bit darker, but not that much darker. And I know that I went in with New Wave, but I don't think it went up that high, so I'm not sure what's happening up there. So I just wanted to point that out too. All right, so final thoughts are, it is an okay palette. It's definitely pigmented. There are other palettes that I've had problems with before, like the Too Faced Peanut Butter and Honey palette that was problematic because it just wasn't pigmented enough. This is super duper pigmented, and it is a little bit hard to blend. So I'd say that I don't know if it's worth the effort. The colors are pretty. They are oxidizing, so I would need to understand what the color is and what the color is going to become so I can really use it well. And I do put a decent amount of effort into makeup. I use a lot of mixing mediums, and I use a lot of primers and other things to kind of shift it and change it and just see what it's going to do, how it's going to behave differently. But for the average person, I don't know if it's worth the effort. It does take effort to be mindful to go in with a very light hand to pick up product. And I do have a lot of kickback, but I don't have anything that's hit pan on here. I did intentionally go in with a light hand to really avoid that. I also, if I do continue to use this, will definitely use smaller brushes, like the small Real Techniques Crease Definer brush. But yeah, I'm not sure about this. I might give it another go with primers, but I actually have heard that using primers is not good because things stick too much, and it really wasn't moving around. So I'm not even sure if I might keep this for research purposes or just to have it on hand, but I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. So yeah, that's the Anastasia Subculture palette. Leave comments down below about whether or not you're planning on buying it, what your thoughts are. If you've gone into, I don't know if it's in stores yet, I think it's only online in Ulta and Sephora, but yeah, leave comments down below. And thank you for stopping by and watching this. The world is a big place, and YouTube is a big place, and I appreciate that you took some time to spend with me today. I will see you again, hopefully very soon. Take care.